Good evening guys. Tonight we're just going to do as promised a smaller tub so that you can set up your own at home. When you get a colony from ourselves, obviously you're going to put it into a tub. You may not have such a big tub like our 3x2s, so for all intents and purposes we're going to use this blue one as your tub. This would be like an average size plastic container you can buy at most home bases and Peacocks and places like that, you know, any sort of Poundland. So ideally what you're looking for is just a square tub. Again, we're going to use the egg crates. We've worked out that for this size of tub we need 7 crates, and like in our big version we're going to stack it up. Now there's going to be 1 or 2 differences in the way we set this tub up, because you don't have the volume that we have in our tubs, so you don't need to go to the extent, but you still want to be able to provide as much space as you can, but allowing everything to find each other. The other thing that we're going to need for this tub, because the tub has slight angles on the sides, it doesn't quite sit square like in the big tubs. They wedged in. With this one it won't quite wedge in, and 8 crates is too much, so you need a couple of offcuts just to wedge it in across the top. And this is how we do this. We clamp it together, slide it in, and try not to let it all move about, because once it's moved about you can't clamp it. Wedge a piece in the top just to hold it that side. If it moves, just line it back up, and then wedge this piece down here. It hasn't got to look pretty, it's just in there to stop the crates moving, so they stand vertical. And it's quite important you get these crates vertical. The reason for it is that it allows all the frass, that's the roach poo to most people, to fall to the bottom of the tub, keeping the crates nice and clean. So you don't need to worry about that. You can take them crates out, hoover out the bottom of the tub when you're cleaning. For our tubs, yes, in the other videos yesterday we used a 5 container tub, but I'm just going to use a couple of takeaway containers just to show you a principle. These could be plastic tubs or whatever else you want. We're going to cut out a notch out of each of them, and the reason for this is for you to let the nymphs in, because you ain't going to have the climbing space like in the bigger tubs. So we've just cut out the notch out of each of these, and what I will do is allow nymphs to get in and out of the tubs. Like anything else, just get these a moment. We're going to fill them up with food. So there's our food. I'm going to place it down into the corner of the tray, and I'll do the same thing with water gel crystals. And there's our water gel crystals. Again, down into the corner of the tray. You could add a 3rd tray in the centre here, and you could put your veg in that. Essentially that is all you need inside the tray. They've got enough space here to get around. This will probably house maybe 1,000+ roaches, so you're not going to have to worry about it. Obviously pick a container that has a lid that you can put a vent in across here. The other thing you'll need at home, you'll need to get yourself a heat mat. This particular one is a 63 watt 4-foot heat mat. It's a 48 inch by 11 inch heat mat. Now a lot of people would get a smaller heat mat and place it underneath, but what we find with that is that there's never ever enough heat produced to keep the desired colony between 85 and 95 degrees, and that's where a lot of people fail to produce a lot of young nymphs. You need to get this temperature, this internal core temperature in here, 85 to 95. You still need a cool zone, but that's where the food area comes in, so that if they need to get away from the heat, they can go over there. What we do is wrap the heat mat around the outside of the tub like this. What that does, obviously you'll do a better job than this, I'm only just doing this for demonstration purposes, but what that does, if you look inside the box here, the heat mat will actually incorporate the whole of the egg crates. So they're actually surrounded on 3 sides by heat. So it's important you have your vent in here, but this is what you need to get your tubs up to 85 to 95 degrees. Other than that, and putting your vents in and hot gluing them or siliconing them, however you decide to do it, your tub is set to go. You get your order, you split your box open, just pour them straight in and away you go. And you leave them to it and they will be producing young in no time at all. So that's basically how you want to set your little tubs up at home. Get your heat mat wrapped around, you know, for a decent sized tub like this one, a good 4-foot heat mat will do the job. It'll encapsulate all them egg crates and you'll create the desired temperature. The other thing that's worth noting is that Maplins sell a little thermal digital thermometer, and these are worth their weight in gold. They're about 13 quid, and if you can stretch to that, it's worth having. You can click on the temperature, and the temperature's dropped just below 85 here at the moment, and that's because we've had the door open while we've been in and out and everything else. But again, this radiator will soon pick that up. But what this will do is allow you to spot check the inside of your egg crates. So you can put it down to the top of the egg crates, just click the button and you can do a test, and you're looking for 85 degrees. You might want to run this to a haberstat or something like that to thermoregulate it so that it does only go to 85 degrees, but we usually find that just plugging them on this size of tub will create that 85 degrees for you. And after that, it's just a case of leaving them alone. Don't feed out of the roach colony until it's well established, usually around 6 months. What that does, it gives the first lot of nymphs time to get adulthood, because they usually hit adults in 4 to 6 months, and after that you're able to feed out because you'll have a constant supply of nymphs reaching adulthood. You'll also have varying sizes of nymphs, which will allow you to feed off to other things like geckos and chameleons, spiders, things like that. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Any questions, go to the contact page, leave us, fill out the sheet there and leave us some information, and we'll get back to you. Thanks for viewing.